What's up, gorgeous? Welcome back to another video. Happy 2020. The new backdrop is a velvet purple, so if you thought that's what it was going to be, congratulations. I don't think anyone DM'd me saying or guessing that it was going to be velvet purple. One person guessed red velvet, and I was like, I really love red velvet cake, but that's not what I did. So starting 2020, I want to do a new series. Simply going to call it Let's Talk. I'm only going to do it when I'm doing my glam makeup because I feel like it gets kind of boring just sitting here watching me do makeup. Sometimes it'll be serial killer, sometimes it'll be a weird disappearance, possible murder. Today it's going to be Elizabeth Short. If you don't immediately recognize the name Elizabeth Short, it's probably because you better know her as the Black Dahlia. Okay. A few things before I get into this video. The products are just going to be put up around the video, and I'm not really talking about the makeup I'm doing. I'm mostly talking about the story. Elizabeth Short was born July 29th, 1924. She was the middle of 5 daughters. Her father, Cleo, faked his own suicide in 1929, blaming the Depression. So Phoebe, her mother, was left with 5 daughters to care for on her own. It was noted that even from a young age, Elizabeth was a very attractive young woman and looked and acted more mature than she was. Despite having asthma and a couple of other lung problems, her friends regarded her as a very lively person. A little bit later on in her life, her father offered her a place to stay with him in California. And desperate to be a star, Elizabeth jumped at that opportunity. However, this was a very short-lived living arrangement because of the tension between her and her father due to Elizabeth's living habits. She liked to party, and she wasn't too big on doing housework and chores. So he kicked her out about the middle of the year that she went and moved in with him. Soon after, she got a job at Post Exchange at Camp Cook, and she earned the title Camp Cutie at Camp Cook. However, Elizabeth didn't like this too much, and she tried to make it known to everyone, especially her co-workers, that she was only looking for a long-term relationship that would be sealed by marriage. Her potential suitors, or not really suitors, but boyfriends, were not very fond of this. So this left Elizabeth sitting at home most nights instead of out partying like she used to. So this, her not partying, and her saying that she felt uncomfortable, led her to quit her job. And she moves in with a friend near Santa Barbara. It was here that she had her first arrest. It was a rowdy night, and Elizabeth was underage, so she gets fingerprinted and booked, but she never gets charged with anything. The police officers that were working felt bad for her, so they shipped her back to Massachusetts, where she was originally from. She moves back to Hollywood, where she meets Lieutenant Gordon Fickling. They fell in love and made hasty plans to marry. However, he gets shipped to Europe for whichever event's happening. During this time, Elizabeth was taking modeling jobs, dating other servicemen, and eventually settles with some relatives in Miami. It was here in Miami that she meets serviceman Matt Gordon. She's got a thing for serviceman named Gordon, so they fall in love, and he promises to marry her when he gets back from India. However, this never happens because he gets killed in action, which Elizabeth is heartbroken. This was going to be the one. She was going to get married, live happily ever after. So she starts telling people that they actually were already married and that they in fact had a child who died during childbirth. After recovering from her breakdown, in mourning and finally recovering, she reaches out to her friends back in California. Noted her ex-boyfriend, Gordon Fickling. So they are exchanging letters, agreed to meet in Chicago, and when they do, she falls in love again and agrees to see him again in Long Beach before she moves back to California. She left LA December 8, 1946, but before she does, she was staying with a gentleman named Mark Hansen. And in questioning later, he says that Elizabeth was worried about something and she was on the phone crying about being scared. For my eye look, I'm trying to use all of the black eyeshadows that I own. So again, they'll be popped up. In San Diego, Short befriended a young woman named Dorothy French, who feels bad for her when Short's talking about how hard it is to find acting jobs with all the acting strikes that were currently happening. So French allows Elizabeth to stay with her and her mom for what is expected to be just a couple of days, turns into over a month. And the same issues arose that she had with her father about her partying and not wanting to clean up around the house or take care of anything. So this became an issue with the French family. Around this time, French becomes interested in a man named Robert Red Manley, who is a salesman with a pregnant wife at home. So Manley admits to being interested in Elizabeth, calling her attractive. He admits that they saw each other on and off for a couple weeks. However, he says that there was no funny business going on. Elizabeth is wanting to get back to Hollywood, so Manley agrees to take her. They stay in a hotel together. A night of partying happens, but they do stay in the hotel room together. He claims that she slept on the bed. He slept in a chair in their room. The next morning, she said that she was returning to Massachusetts, but first needed to go to Hollywood to see her sister at the Biltmore Hotel. If you're familiar with this hotel, you know that it is rumored to be haunted, and that you're probably already familiar with Elizabeth Short. Manley says, okay, I'll take you, but he's got an appointment, and he doesn't stick around. He just drops her off and leaves. So the last time he sees her, she's in the hotel lobby making phone calls. This is the last time anyone sees her. So hotel staff and Manley were the last people to see Elizabeth Short, saying that she was in the hotel lobby making phone calls. So the first hotel room, he leaves her there the next morning after him sleeping in the chair and her there because he's got an appointment. Comes back at noon. By noon, she's saying, no, I'm going back to Massachusetts. First, I need to see my sister. Okay, he's got another appointment. This man has a lot of appointments. I hope he's healthy. And drops her off at the Biltmore. Last time anyone sees her at all. Not sponsored, but if they would. So as far as the LA Police Department could tell, Short's killer had to see her January 9th, 1947. That was the last time anyone saw her, so it had to have been the last time the killer saw her. Elizabeth Short was missing for 6 days before her body was found in a nearby vacant parking lot. Her body was severely mutilated. It was sliced in half, and it was completely drained of all blood and scrubbed clean. It was also thought that the killer had to be skilled in dissection because of how clean the cuts were. This was a very gruesome case for the time. It's still pretty gruesome. The press then dubs Elizabeth Short as the Black Dahlia. She's 22 years old. Rumored for penchant sheer black clothes, and there's a current movie out called Blue Dahlia, so that's how the press names her the Black Dahlia. Her case was instantly popular with the press. She was front page news for months following her death. A combination of faulty witnesses, false confessions, and just the lack of hard evidence caused this case to go on for so long unsolved, and it's still unsolved to this day. However, new information arose in 2013. So let's get those dates right again. She was killed in 1947. 2013, 7 years ago, new information comes out about this case. A trio including a retired police sergeant named Paul Dostie. I'll pop his name up. That's the only way I know how to say it. An author, Steve Hodel, and a police dog, Buster, did their own investigation. Hodel has long believed that his father was the killer of the Black Dahlia. What made him believe this? I'm not really sure. There's a lot of articles about it. I just didn't read any of them because I knew this video was going to be so long. The pupper dogger, Buster, is specifically trained to smell decomposing flesh of humans. So that's what he does. He does his job. And in Hodel's basement, his father, Mr. George Hodel, in his basement, there is the smell of rotting flesh to this dog. Also sent some soil samples to a lab. I'm just trying to define this shape real quick. This was not the only evidence against Hodel. He was reportedly on the phone with someone when he says, "S'posin' I did kill the Black Dahlia. They couldn't prove it now. They can't talk to my secretary because she's dead." So, did George Hodel really kill Elizabeth Short? Was it any of the other people that were mentioned in this story? She seemed to anger a lot of people with her living habits, but surely that's not enough reason to kill somebody. Will her case ever be solved? We don't know. That's why Elizabeth's case is so famous. Not just because of the gruesome details of her murder, but because her cases went so long unsolved, and then it went so long before getting any type of new information. But if you want to do your own soul searching, there's plenty of literature on the internet. There's books, there's movies. You can do your own soul searching on Elizabeth Short to see who you think the killer is. If there's any case that you want to hear me talk about, then let me know in the comments. You know I say if you do bold eye, do simple on the lip. Today, we're not. We're going in with a gray lip. If you know any information about the Black Dahlia that maybe I didn't mention, please feel free to DM me on Instagram or maybe even in the comments. If I got anything wrong, please let me know and I will correct it. This is our finished look for the Black Dahlia. If you like this video, give me a like and subscribe. A lot of my viewers are not subscribed. Let me know if you, again, have any more ideas for this series or any other makeup looks you want to see. And don't forget, on this channel, we also do the FX. Got 2 projects started for that already. Let me know if there's anything you want to see. Have a wonderful day.